Hello, hello. How's everybody doing? Sorry, I'm working on some sound issues here. Random. This any better? Yeah, looks like it. Okay. Everybody hear me all right? There we go. I don't know what the hell changed. Oh, something. Should be good though. Hell if I know. Sure, I'll figure it out at some point why my sound is more depressed than normal. Hopefully it sounds alright too. Hope everybody's having a good 4th. I'm super late getting started. Well, I said I was going to be doing a short stream today, but I didn't intend it to be this short. Family had dinner, and then I was getting ready to get on. Then a massive summer storm came through. We lost power for a while. And during the storm, my office started flooding. I guess I have a defect in my door. I have an exterior door in my office, and the water just came flowing through. So obviously I have some kind of a seal problem, so I got to get that squared away. Spent the day at work, finally off, pouring rain. Yeah, going to club. Well, pouring rain part. Luckily, I didn't do my normal job today. I worked for myself today, which I will do anytime. Lost power hasn't come back? Damn. Are you on the East Coast, Lysergic? Freaking crazy, man. This heat wave, but I guess it's finally breaking now. These storms are part of that, I guess, so looking forward to the slightly cooler weather tomorrow. Where I'm at, it's been over 100 degrees every day for the past 4-ish days. And tomorrow, we're going to get a balmy 90 before we're back into the 80s and the following day, so looking forward to that. I wanted to grill today, but I'm like, no way, dude. No way I'm standing by the grill in like what feels like 110, 115, you know what I mean? No thanks. So I'm going to grill tomorrow instead. I defer my grilling. Michigan. Nice. Never been there. That is a place I have never been. Closest I was probably Chicago. Bear with me. I'm going to try one more thing on the sound here. Testing. Nope. Testing. Yeah, it doesn't make a difference. Alright. I'll figure it out off stream. What the hell's going on there? Sub citizen in game, hailing from Massachusetts. So you're probably in this heat wave too, right? And welcome. Howdy, Commander Melander. How's everybody feeling about 4.9 pivot? Been hotter than hell, all right? A bit disappointing, but makes sense, yeah. It's one of those things, right? Like, it's pretty hard to have your cake and eat it too. The community, I felt like, was in such an uproar after that SCL with Benoit, which I still don't quite understand myself. That, you know, it makes sense that, like, I mean, I don't know. I don't even know if it makes sense. But, I mean, CIG is giving us what we're asking for, right? At the expense of other things that we've been asking for. So, is what it is. I give up on SC until they can demonstrate the game can work without overloading the back end. Yeah. 4.9 pivot seems to me that CIG is taking the live service of the game a bit more seriously. Yeah, that's one way of looking at it, for sure. Without overloading the back end, I mean that's a lot of what the work they're doing right now is to achieve, right? The introduction of instancing and the march to dynamic server meshing. I mean, we have to realize that they have made progress already. If you just look at the end of 2024 into 2025 and what a difference static server meshing made with respect to how the back end performs. It's only, I don't think you can help but believe that if static meshing helped as much as it did, then obviously instancing, layering, dynamic server meshing, those are all going to be additional leaps forward in back-end performance. Certainly hope they achieve it. Yeah, they will. I think from a funding point of view, it feels to me like they've either already or they are dang close to reaching escape velocity. You know what I mean? Where the funding has carried them through to the release of their first single title, which hopefully will kind of start the engine. Like start their own kind of independent financial engine, you know what I mean? It definitely took a massive crowdfunding campaign to get them there, but that's my hope, is that they can turn that into like the self-sustaining machine. Is instancing a step towards dynamic meshing, or is it its own thing? It's related. Instancing will help scale in a different way, right? If you go back to any of my videos, I talk a lot about there's multiple directions of scale in a game like Star Citizen. Dynamic server meshing is a tool for scaling universe out. It's an interesting technology because dynamic server meshing will also help with scaling down to an extent, but it's going to hit a wall. And at that wall, that's where instancing and layering take over. All right, like almost kind of like you hit the speed of light wall whenever you try to spread a player base out. Like whenever you try to bring too many people into close proximity, there's another wall of physics that you're going to hit that no amount of technology is going to resolve. So that's what instancing and layering is for. So in a way, it's I call it a pressure release valve, because the only other alternative is you don't do instancing and layering, and then when enough players congregate into a small area, then your mesh falls over and breaks down. You know what I mean? And you don't want that to happen. So you need that pressure release valve, and the release valve is instancing. Dynamic going to be a game changer for the Daymar rally? Hell yeah, I hope so. If they can get instancing working right, wouldn't that help fix a lot of that AI desync in FPS? Yeah, as long as the FPS that you're doing is inside an instance, it's going to help a lot, yeah. Like, their plans for instancing Siege of Orison Take 2. I would imagine you're going to get a lot better performance out of the AI in the new Siege of Orison whenever it comes out truly instanced. I mean, it's not a silver bullet. They still have to make sure that the DGS that you're running on in your instance is capable of, you know, managing the number of AIs that are going to be in there. We've all seen games that can't do that. What was I just playing recently? Man, it wasn't Star Citizen. There's another game I played recently where, like, the AI was pretty bad. Because there was... Oh! Conan. We stood up a Conan server in the Unhinged community. And there was a bunch of us loaded in. You know, I think at our peak we had, like, 30 or 40 people online on our own Conan server. And, yeah. You can quickly swamp a Conan server with too many NPCs. I just can't keep up. So... I think, I don't even know how many it is on Conan. It felt like once you got to the point where people had a couple hundred NPCs, they call them thralls, right? Like player-controlled NPCs. Once there was a couple hundred of those on the server, it was just crawling. Hey, good evening, P-Wolf. Good to see you, man. Hope you're staying cool. I forget where you're at in the world, but if you are in this heat wave, I hope you're staying cool. And I hope you're having a good July 4th, if you're in the US. If not, I still hope you're having a good July 4th. Something tells me you're in Germany. Sorry, I get locations mixed up. Oh, you're in Cali. Okay, it's somebody else that was in Germany. Yeah, bit of a break. Yeah, you guys aren't getting hit like we are. Yeah, we were just talking about instancing and scaling and the back end and the 4.9 pivot. How you feeling about the 4.9 pivot, P-Wolf? Good move or disappointing? It's good, citizen. Yeah. If you're getting the storm we just got, I don't know if that's traveling kind of up the coast, because I'm just a little bit south of you. I'm in Pennsylvania, so if you're in Massachusetts, then I know you usually get the weather a little bit after we do, but that was a hell of a storm that just rolled through here. That's the reason I'm so late getting on. We lost power for a while, and my office flooded. That's the first time my office has ever flooded, but it definitely revealed a seal problem on my door. Not total flooding, you know what I mean? But I had a pretty large puddle of water had to get rid of. That was wicked. It got dark quick. I've been doing some stuff that is new to me over the last week with GPU boxes. This was the first time I've ever had a need for GPU boxes in the cloud, so that's been an interesting ride. Crazy how much things change over time. Good evening, Flessa. 4.9 pivot is probably a good thing to help keep players happy. I don't really think there was anything coming in 4.9 originally that I was super excited for anyway, so pushing them back is fine. Yeah, I mean, the thing where they're pushing back is, which it sounds like they might have pushed back anyway. Sounds like it wasn't quite ready to begin with, was Siege of Wars and instanced content. So. Which, I'm kind of with you, like it's not a big deal to get that pushed back. I think the only big deal in getting that stuff pushed back is whatever was beyond it is also pushed back, most likely. So. This thing didn't sound like it was working on. Oh yeah, I heard from people that were on the PTU that it was not working all that well. There was even some speculation going around that they were going to launch Siege without instancing. I can't imagine them doing that. But don't know. How's it running for people? People in my org have said it's getting a lot better again. I haven't been on in a few days. CIG can get rid of some critical bugs and bring features in with less critical bugs, and that's a good move. I hope it helps the game in the long run. Yeah, that's where I'm at, Citizen. Like, if this helps them deliver with more confidence and less issues, then I'm all for it. It was on a couple days ago. Only issue I had was a windstorm tossed a ship at me. Nice. That's the kind of problems I love. I think that was just because the first patch didn't send you to a different server when you did Siege. Yeah, I figured it was something like that, Commander. People tend to overreact. Desync on PU has been bad. Managed to get through the Xenothreat event yesterday and today. Xenothreat's janky, yeah. I've never done Xenothreat. Just because I've always heard that it was just a jank fest. I'm like, why would I want to go do that? Sounds cool though. One of these days I'm gonna have to do it. You and Gray haven't done it yet either? Who's Gray? I might not recognize your names. Oh, you and Grey Wolf. Gotcha. Yeah, I've never done it. The Return of Xenothreat. Like, I see this and I just skip it. I haven't even read this. Oh, that's one other thing that was coming in 4.9 that I'm actually going to be a little sad to wait and see, and that is the the super heavy duty armor. Hold on, I got a bot to kick. But the super heavy duty armor that was like belt fed from the backpack, that I'm actually kind of excited about. I'm weight pilled as always. It's a great position to have. Weight pilled? What's that mean? I know Buria. I know. That's the other reason I've never really hopped into it. Citizen is comes back every year, right? So yeah, me too. Beowulf. That armor was sick looking. I know embarrassing little about the Star Citizen lore. When I say the outlaw group has emerged once again to threaten the Stanton system, I'm like, what outlaw group? Is Xeno a threat? Is that an outlaw group? Oh, got you, Ring. Yeah, I'm the same way. It doesn't bother me. I have no expectations. You know what I mean? I think maybe that's a difference between people who don't get all worked up about stuff and those who do. Is I guess some people have expectations on this project on like time, and I just don't. Like I couldn't even venture a guess of when we'll be playing 1.0, and I don't really think about it. Someday. Me too, Commander. Good thinking. Squadron 42 should teach us the lore. Yeah. I'll definitely play that. That is a way that I would pick lore up. Want nothing and you'll never be disappointed. Amen. That's something to live by. Got mad about the clad, but I'm over it. The clad? Oh, the ironclad? Yeah. Well, I'm sure if you bought the ship, I can understand being upset about it not working. Like if I drop $500 on a ship and I log in and it's completely busted, I can't do anything with it. I mean, it's understandable. Get annoyed. It's kind of different than waiting on a ship that you pledged for, you know what I mean? Like, I've spent a lot of money on ships that I don't even have yet. But if I bought one that was already released and I log in and it's, like, unusable, I could get frustrated by that. But I'd get over it quick. Yeah, that's a good expectation to have, P-Wolf. I guess that's probably mine too, right? Like if I truly saw them completely stalled and not getting anywhere, I'd probably lose interest. I don't know if I'd get upset, but I would lose interest. Probably wouldn't see me making any videos. But there's a steady, unrelenting march of progress here. It's fun to watch. Sometimes you can get kind of lost in it, you know what I mean? Like sometimes when you're really paying attention day in, day out, and looking at every change and measuring against every other change, I mean, things can start to look very incremental, very minor. If you ever find yourself in that spot, just take a step back. That's what I do. And then you kind of look at it from like, man, when I joined this project to where it is now, night and day. That's how I approach it. But I mean, I fall into that trap too, where I'm just like we just got over 4.8 and we're looking at 4.9, and you know, and you kind of look down the list of things coming to 4.9, and kind of easy to be like, yeah, there's nothing I'm too excited about there. And which in this case there's not going to be for most people. There's really nothing coming in 4.9, but you know what I mean. Unique rewards. This is another thing that does not motivate me. I don't know. I'm not motivated by items or anything like that. I'm motivated by the sandbox. Let me know when I can build a base, defend it. That's what's really got me jazzed. I hope that these delays do not push back too far, at least. The new planets, man. I am so pumped to see the new planets. Completely night and day from when you started? Yeah, exactly. Oh shit, I didn't even see this yet. When did this post? I looked at the roadmap roundup, but I don't think I saw a monthly report. No, I didn't. Shit. Totally missed this. Hope you don't mind. I'm going to take a look at it now. You're happy there was mention of them getting into refining now, so crafting is still moving. When did they mention that? I missed that. I saw some complaining they just dropped it like they do with other features. Too bad, Lysergic. You're just gonna have to sit there and mine, dude. Oh, the refining. Yeah, well, that must be why I haven't heard of it. I did not see this. I was, the day I did my last video, I was sitting there and I was waiting for, the roadmap roundup to come out. And as soon as it did, I started recording, and I must have just completely, missed the monthly report. Anyway. AI content. They need to support several initiatives for Alpha 4.9. They also worked alongside mission design to set up comms calls and NPCs for several upcoming missions. Oh, okay, that's cool. Where the some of the newer missions have had this, and I kind of dig it. Like whenever you accept the mission and then you start getting like a phone call from the mission giver. It definitely adds to the immersion. AI content then supported a performance capture shoot to ensure that the content will flow seamlessly once the audio is mastered and animations are solved. Alongside this, the team planned out some narrative-driven initiatives for new behaviors and directions to explore. Like this is the kind of thing that doesn't get me excited. Like I don't read this and be like, oh man, I can't wait for better quest acting. But whenever I'm in the game and I'm playing and this kind of stuff just happens ambiently around me, I certainly appreciate it. I'm glad that it's there, you know what I mean? But it's not something I'm going to be looking forward toward to. People complain about anything. They were complaining that data running got dropped because of the text on the loading screen. When you say got dropped, I never saw like to what extent it got dropped. Are we talking like dropped or deferred or like what's going on with data running? I haven't actually, I don't think I actually know. Oh, it didn't get dropped at all? Okay. Well, I must have heard the same thing that you had heard, and I just kind of shrugged and be like, well, when there's something important to know, I'm sure that I'll know it, but I just heard a bunch of rumbling about it. It was just people assuming it was coming because some of the lore on the loading screen hinted at it. Dude, that's the kind of shit, you know what I mean? Oh my gosh. Oh. You're not kidding when you say they'll complain about everything. Anything and everything. That's the thing. That's why I started out my last video with that Ollie 43 shit. I'm like, I could not believe that there was that much drama around Ollie 43 flying into the office. Like, like you guys really. And it got me thinking, you know what I mean? Like, maybe why I can't understand or relate to that is I think maybe some people just genuinely like to bitch and complain about stuff. Like maybe that's their joy. Like maybe complaining brings them the same kind of joy that like building something brings me. That's the only thing I can figure. and why those two types of people just cannot relate to one another. I don't know. Yeah, I can't be happy, so nobody can. Yeah, I guess it's that. Ugh, like every time somebody comes into my comments just to say some super negative thing, I'm just like if that was me, like if I was annoyed about a project or I didn't believe in a project or I thought a project was a scam, I would just avoid it. Like that's how I would approach it. I wouldn't even interact with it. Like if people really wanted to, like that's on them, right? But me, I would ignore it. But so when people come in just to like bash something or speak ill of it, like I don't know, my brain just doesn't get it. I'm like, why are you wasting your time? If you think this project is such a scam, like why do you waste your time hanging around like trying to convince everybody else of that? I just don't understand it. I don't know. I guess I value my time differently. Like to me, that would feel like a complete waste of my time going somewhere else to try to convince somebody who likes something that they shouldn't like it. I just can't even, like, you know? Yeah. I honestly love the unexpected features. It makes it more fun, like a windstorm such. I know. Like when you said you windstorm blew a ship into you, like that's amazing. I would laugh about that, man. That would make my play session. Misery loves company. Maybe that's it. Maybe you're onto something. Maybe that's like the call. Like they do this stuff just so they can find people like them. Maybe that's what it is. It's fun until you're almost full bloater blows away. It was funny, but damn, yeah, it sucks. I've been in that boat. Although I never had a full vulture get blown away, but I've been stranded because my ships got blown away. I think many people spend their time very poorly. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at, Ring. That's what I'm trying to get at. Like, I don't understand how people can think that's a good use of their time. Like, man. Like, you're actively choosing to do that rather than something that will bring you something to your life, you know? I don't know. I guess another thing is like if everybody just ignored the BS or what they thought was the BS, like things would just work themselves out. You know what I mean? Like if something's truly BS, enough people will ignore it that it just goes away. All this kind of like, well, whatever. I'm continuing on. AI features of tech. Last month saw AI features of tech fix an issue with super heavy NPCs not being able to use their miniguns. Oh, so this is the armor we were just talking about that we're looking forward to in 4. Well, it was going to be 4.9, I guess now 4.10. Some human AI issues were fixed too, including NPCs continuing to fire at targets they could not see. For the Apex Valacar, the devs introduced the ability to constrain it to an area while avoiding another. I'm very pumped about everything I keep reading about the Apex Valacar. I can't wait until it is not a boss that we have to go fight. and until it can come to us and surprise the hell out of us. This will be almost as cool as getting smacked by a ship in a windstorm. Just being like, I was just there with my hand mining laser, mining this little rock, minding my own business, and I got eaten by an Apex Valacar. That's the kind of stories I want to hear. It also received laser and EMP attacks, gained the ability to switch between attacks, and improvements were made to surface and sound detection. For the Urmati, a bug caused it to get stuck in reactions. Okay, yeah. And although not yet integrated into the PU, improvements were made to the flight AI for fleeing behind objects and counter chasing behaviors and updates. So NPCs are flying better. That's cool. Speaking of flying, have you guys listened to those? Yeah, cool. See me back, P Wolf. Have you guys listened to those sound effects on the ships, like the ships flying overhead? Somebody linked me a video. That's some cool shit, man. The return of like the flyover sound effects or whatever they call them. Yeah, they sound so good, man. And that's like one of those things, right? That like you're not gonna probably interact with that sound all that often, but when you do, it's like you're just gonna have to stop and appreciate it. You know what I mean? I'm sure some people will just go stand out there and try to interact with it, but it's not something I expect to be hearing all that often. But when I do, I'm gonna be like, wow, damn, that's impressive. It reminds me of the stories of Jobs and Wozniak whenever they were first making the Apple One and then Two, and like all the attention to detail that went to the inside of the computer that nobody was ever going to see. You know, like that kind of stuff always reminds me of that type of passion. Love them or hate them, you know, you got to respect passion. Animation team. Sorry. Animation team fleshed out animations for the Apex Valacar. Man, they're putting a lot of work into this Apex Valacar. While planning for the next round of creatures, they also worked on the Mission Giver, Batal. I don't even know how to say that name. Battaglia? Both in their physical locations and when spoken to over comms. It's crazy how much work. I think like, I mean, one monthly report after another, I just keep seeing like Apex Valacar. Like, they're putting a lot of work into that creature. Where can you find the sounds? I'll link them here. Definitely worth checking this out. There you go. That's the ones I was listening to. I'll play one real quick just so everybody can see what I'm talking about. Oh. I gotta figure out what's going on with my volume here. Okay, I found it.
Tell you really quick, 4.9 is shaping up to be quite a patch, and with that we have the return of flyby sounds. Now I'm just going to give you a demonstration of some of the flyby sounds, but of course there's over 200 ships in the game, so it'd be really hard to show you everything. Now some ships like the Polaris, the Idris, and a few others don't even have a flyby sound yet, including the Wolf. Now with that, I'm sure that they're going to come out with more of these before the 4.9 patch cycle, because right now they're completely silent, and then it seems like some of these sounds are just a little bit quiet, or how they play sometimes sometimes can be a little odd, like you'll hear a sonic boom in one point and not the other. But overall, this is heading in the right direction and it sounds fantastic. Let's continue and take a look. Thank you for watching. Thanks for being here. You all are awesome.
Isn't that badass? That's so good. I love how different they all are, you know what I mean? Like, there's just subtle differences between all of them. They all have their own sound profile. Yeah, to your point, Waffle. Hey, if this is feature creep, I'll take it. That was cool. There's a part 2 as well. Do a couple on this one because the railing I think sounds pretty cool if I remember right.
Hello and welcome back to Star Citizen. This is part 2 of the new flyby sounds that we hear in Star Citizen, and I just have to say you guys are truly amazing. I didn't expect the first video to get as much attention as it did,
so this is from the PTU.
Deserved. The sound team is doing a phenomenal job over at Cloud Imperium
this is staying
Games, and
in
yes, they are
4.9
separate
release, so
from
we are
all the
going to
other
get this.
teams. So don't expect the sound team to be out there fixing game critical bugs, but they are working on their own
Even
thing.
though most
and
of the features in 4.9 have been punted,
Here is
this
part
one's still
2.
coming.
Let's go ahead and take a look at some of these ships.
What's up, Griffin? What's up, man? Happy 4th. Hope you're staying cool. That railing has a cool sound to it. Give us a thumbs up. It is awesome. Everybody keeps talking about the new sound guy. I don't know much about him, but I'm impressed with this. It'll definitely make those moments whenever you're all like, when you're all touched down, you know, like your whole team's touched down at a landing pad or some POI, and everybody starts. Either you're the first one down and your friends are coming in for landings, or you're kind of like lagging behind the takeoff. It's gonna feel really cool. New sound guy's eccentric and awesome. Nice. Help make aliens? Dude, they're getting some top tier talent over at CIG. That's all I know. When I first saw this, I was like, imagine being like on the ground under like some kind of aerial combat going on. That could get pretty intense. I love that. Attack, baby. Yeah, you're not wrong, Commander. That has a wild sound to it. I think in the previous video, I don't think I had my volume turned up, but they did the new bomb sound at the beginning of it. F8C. This thing better sound awesome. I haven't seen those yet. That's cool. Yeah, I'm into that.
All right, with that, that's a lot of good sounding ships. Now, there does seem to be quite a few ships, like in the Origin lineup or the Capital size, that don't even have any sounds at all. So they are still working on this. They're still implementing, and there's a lot of things that they're probably going to be modifying with these sounds, including their volume level, as some of them seem pretty quiet. Otherwise, they sound amazing, and I can't wait to see all the new sound changes coming over the next few patches in 4.9, 4.10, and beyond. This is truly amazing. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. And if you guys want to see any other ships, leave them down in the comments below. And of course, I'll see you in the next one.
Going back to see this bomb. Right at the beginning here, they do, I think this was the new bomb sound.
Hello and welcome back to Star
Definitely
Citizen.
cool,
Look, I just gotta
combined
tell you really
arm
quick,
stuff,
4.9 is shaping up to be.
Yeah, definitely excited about the ship sounds. It's gonna be sweet. Yeah, they are doing great. Oh man, that's right. I didn't even see the Clipper yet. I love the Clipper. God, it's still my favorite ship at the moment. I don't even know what got us into that. Character art team spent the month working on the new armor set. Wonder if that's the super heavy armor set. Alongside us, the concept art team progressed with a new combat armor. Starware initiative continued. I think that will all continue to pay off in the future. Art ships. The ships team finalized and launched the Gaddock Railin and Tului. And they turned their attention to another Gray's Market ship. Oh boy. Which was parked last year due to other priorities, beginning by ensuring nothing had degraded since it was last worked on. I don't know how I feel about these ships. How many people in the comment? I think you either love these or you hate them. How many people love them? Well, the first one anyway. What was that? A mashup of Crusader and Drake? I definitely appreciate that something like this exists. So far, it has not been my cup of tea. But I can appreciate the attraction for those who dig it. Further work was done for the Liberator. My gosh, dude, I can't wait for that. Including integrating and repurposing numerous anvil kit pieces from recent ships, such as the Asgard and Paladin, which significantly reduces the amount of required new content. Yes! I have been waiting for that thing for quite a while. Love them, just wish they were in-game only. I think we all know it's called the Basher. Oh, really? They definitely have character, no doubt. More artists moved on to the RSI Galaxy following the release of the recent alien ships, helping across all the areas. The Galaxy is going to be the big thing at the end of this year, right? That's the big ship we're expecting. I know a lot of people are excited about that. I just wonder, well, I guess somebody mentioned it was going to be talked about in this, but yeah, my wonder would be, is Refining going to be out in time? Because I know that was one of the big roles for the Galaxy. 2 new ground vehicle variants progressed quickly down the pipeline. Ground vehicle variants. One successfully passed the combined white box and gray box gate review, while the other is rapidly approaching a white box gate review. That's interesting. Wonder which vehicle these will be variants of. Ground vehicle variants. I don't know. I don't have any guesses at the moment. I can't wait for the G12 though. I don't think that would count as a variant. I mean, nah, G12's not a variant. That's not considered a variant of the Ursa, right? I don't know. Mechanized infantry Atlas mech variants. That'd be sweet. 4 unannounced ships progressed. The first, a new fighter, passed its white box gate review and will continue to have its geometry refined as part of the gray box phase in preparation for November. The second, a new ship from ZN manufacturer designed to fulfill a generalist role, entered pre-production. Dude, nice. I'm excited for more generalist ships. ZN though, there's a lot of manufacturers I would have picked next before I picked ZN, but third progressed towards its Lot 0 gate. As part of this, the team added detail crossed hull and shorter him. The fourth had its gray box gate reviewing. Following this, adjustments were made to its component and weapon locations. The motion cap team is currently preparing to tackle the complicated animations required for this ship. Interesting. Complicated animations required for this ship. That kind of makes me think it's more Alien. Finally, the North American team continued to move the Kraken towards its gray box gate review while focusing on utilizing the finalized Drake kit from the Ironclad. Hell yeah. The initial lighting pass was done to set the tone across the ship. Man, that's exciting. Kraken is going to be hell of a ship. That is the one ship I don't have that I wish I did, but I probably never will have. In June, the weapons team continued through the final phase of production on a new but I look forward to building them. That's the thing. I look forward to building Krakens. Something that will be useful against the Apex Worm, yeah. It has variants, but it's on its own. Yeah, that's what I thought, Commander. There's like, yeah, there's 3 variants of the G12. In June, the weapons team continued through the final phase of production on a new large caliber weapon. In addition, they pushed forward with content for upcoming patches and numerous weapon paints for various upcoming events. Team's ongoing material polish and updates continue too, and they're looking forward to upcoming tech that will require cross-team collaboration. In June, the community team kicked off Pride Month. Oh, this is all community stuff. Inviting players to express their creativity and honor her in a myriad of colorful ways. Community team then supported the release of 481. Yeah, I'm going to kind of skip the community stuff. Core gameplay. In June, the core gameplay team shifted focus to a dedicated bug fixing push alongside the player experiences and QA teams. Much of the month was spent identifying root causes of issues affecting day-to-day gameplay, including problems with hangar and freight elevator flow, quantum travel, star map routing. Man, I don't know. I feel like the star map pales in comparison to some of the problems that we've had, but for me personally, any polish that we could get for the star map would be so welcome. I don't know why I get so agitated whenever I'm trying to get somewhere and I got to bring up the star map 3 or 4 times and reset my course again and again before it feels like it takes. I don't know why. I'm sure everybody has their thing. That's my thing. And vehicles being falsely destroyed or flagged for claim. Alongside this, the team kept moving forward on a range of content, technology, and feature initiatives. Fairly vague. The upcoming Apocalypse Arms heavy machine gun received support for magazines mounted to the super heavy suit backpack. Players can now load magazines into the backpack by hand, even when it's worn by another player. That's badass. Like have support for your heavy infantry guy. That'd be cool. And empty magazines now eject automatically. We saw that in the video. This work also prompted a smaller rework of explosion damage so that it spreads more evenly across body parts, plus fixes for the ammo count, display, and magazines failing to eject correctly. Supporting the heavy machine gun also required changes to the melee system to handle different buttstock strike damage values, which fixed a bug where they weren't dealing damage at all. Separately, holographic previews for tractor-beamed items now use each item's attachable offset where available, making their appearances more accurate. Okay. Probably something we didn't even know we needed. For item recovery, the team finished a basic version of the individual item claim mode and began work on the full version. The individual item claim mode. Interesting. I mean, this all feels like progress towards Tier 2 item recovery, which I'm excited about. Ship paints can now be bricked and recovered like other components. Fixes went in for bricked ships that remained flyable after a full component swap, and for loadouts not being respected after a claim. Claim timer improvements also continued to cut down on unnecessary claims. Ship destroyed while inside a hangar can now be claimed for free. Very good change. I hope that detection is infallible. For Starware, a new tool validates and repairs player and NPC loadouts, catching setup errors that would otherwise break compatibility. The team also added clothing prerequisites for certain armors. For example, the Caldera Novikov suit may require a specific clothing item to be worn first. That's interesting. Work also began on Starware's UI, which took several iterations with UX designers to get right, given the complexity of the equipment rules. New additions include a blocked state that tells players when the item can't be equipped because another item is in the way, indicators for whether a piece is space worthy. That's very interesting. Although, so my mind immediately went to wear and tear, like it's worn out too much to be space worthy, but that also probably means they're giving indicators if you're wearing clothing that just will not protect you in the vacuum of space. It's probably more where their mind is on that. And an improved weight bar at the top of the inventory. Yeah, I see it there. That's cool. That's actually pretty cool. Definitely a lot of information needs to be conveyed on this screen. I can relate to the complexity of information density in a user interface. That's something I've worked around. I'm no designer, but I'm certainly aware. That's definitely a skill set in and of its own. Updates to several core systems were made for Starchitect. Let's go! Which will fundamentally change how designers place locations and sandbox content across the planets. Oh my gosh, this is the best sentence I've read since we started. Now, harvestables and loot are context aware of their surroundings, location, and environment, so designers can match loot to the environment more easily. For instance, instead of manually placing outlaw-specific loot boxes, the system will now detect that a location is outlaw controlled and select the right loot type automatically. I would imagine that is a godsend to the level creators. Crafting is undergoing similar changes for Starchitect compatibility, and the mission system required significant rework so the designers can set up mission locations and contracts at a much larger scale. Freight elevators and security systems are now Starchitect compatible as well. Damn. Sounds like they're making very good progress on Starchitect. Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully this year. I just cannot wait to explore a planet that has been populated with this. You know what I mean? I think that is probably the thing I'm looking forward to most this year. Touching down on a Starchitect planet and just exploring it and seeing how cohesive it feels. Yeah, that's probably my number one thing this year. Or even early next or whatever this gets sponsored to. Like, that's probably the next biggest thing I'm excited about. This procedural shift has triggered a broader review of core gameplay systems, so the team rewrote how nav points are handled and accessed to ensure any system reading that data keeps working even when a location is fully streamed out. This will allow Starchitect locations to appear correctly on the star map, be routed to show up in Quantum Travel HUD, and support location inventories for freight elevators. Yeah, I can imagine the complexities of like maintaining something like a jump point whenever the location that you would be jumping to is streamed out. I mean, obviously, I don't know how this code base works at all, but it makes sense that there's complexities there. For the command module, the team provided heavy post-release support. No shit. That's such a, like, PC way of saying that. You know what I mean? That's what makes that bit funny. The team provided heavy post-release support. Oh my gosh. If I was actually making this a video, that would be the subtitle of the video. Heavy post-release support. Ah, shit. Oh. I sympathize. I sympathize. Addressing player-reported bugs across hangar and air traffic control interactions, damage handling, quantum travel markers, locked doors, camera overrides, star map routing, physical collisions, server transition issues, room atmosphere, more. Also a PC way of saying this shit was totally borked. We had to go back to the drawing board a few times. Oh, man. Oh. For some reason, I got the Family Guy in my head. You ever seen that episode where, I forget what episode it was, but he was watching the news. Peter was watching the news, and the reporter asked Ollie, who was like the weather guy, for an update. He's like, "What's the traffic look like, Ollie?" And Ollie's he talks for just like 1 second. He's like, "Everybody looks like ants," and then it like flipped back to the news report. I don't know why that came to my head when I read that. Everything is borked. Ahead of the tech preview and player testing, the team fixed critical instancing bugs, including players losing ownership of their instance. That's a bad one. Causing it to despawn. That's a bad bug. And players being incorrectly moved into someone else's instance. Eviction logic was also added, so a player kicked from a party gets teleported to a safe location outside the instance. Interesting. Okay, that's actually interesting. So, ever since they started talking about instancing, I've been wondering like how they're going to approach ownership, because it doesn't sound like all the instances are going to operate this way. Whenever you listen to them talk at CitizenCon Direct, for example, and they were talking about dynamic instancing of certain places for population control purposes, they were talking about a bar on Area 18, for example. Like everybody walks into that bar, and if too many people walk into that bar, then you're gonna want to instance that bar to keep the population of the bar at a reasonable level, right? That it can handle and that it was designed to accommodate. And I think that's a really good use for instancing. But obviously in that model, you're not going to have an owner of the instance, and you're certainly not going to want everybody to have to be partied up to remain in the instance. So it seems to me like they're going to have multiple instance ownership models. And the first one, perhaps, that they are working on is your classic party-based ownership. So that's interesting. Causing it to despawn and players being incorrectly moved into someone. Oh, we already read that. To support the reworked Siege of Orison core gameplay, gave the designers a way to assign NPCs to defend specific areas, removing the need for complex spawn clause setups inside instances. That's, I wonder if this means it'll be more like a classic dungeon where you enter a zone and the NPCs are already kind of pre-spawned. You know what I mean? You know, the age-old, hey, I'm pulling, where you enter into their aggro radius and now they're active. That wouldn't surprise me. What's up, Griff? Hope you're having a good 4th. I'm very safe. I'm inside, in my air conditioning, away from the heat wave. I think you're nearby, right, Griff? Hope you're surviving the heat wave well, staying cool. The designers can now also set custom respawn locations. For example, sending a player to the nearest medical facility after completing an objective functioning as a checkpoint system. And they're really gamifying this. This is especially valuable for long-form content like Siege of Orson. Very interesting. This is the first thing I've read that has me feeling like, yeah, this is a gamified mode for the game, right? It definitely sounds very traditional from a dungeon perspective. What's up, Fault? Complex, it opens, they stand there. Is it so complex to make them walk? I don't know. Yeah, classic dungeon feel, exactly. That's where I'm reading, how I'm reading this. Any new social UI updates? I don't know. I haven't got the whole way through this yet. This is my first time reading this. We know that social UI is one of their priorities at the moment. For transport, shuttles can now be gated behind mission logic, matching functionality already available in the legacy systems. The team cleaned up code for elevator carriages with a single door and completed the major work to bring vehicle elevators under the transport system, replacing the convoluted elevator setup many vehicles currently rely on. When they continued on the toolset, the designers used to build mission content. When they continued on the toolset the designers used to build mission content, with numerous workflow fixes and optimizations, the devs also began building a mission board UI provider component to support local interactable mission boards. That's cool. Yeah, I would love to see this kind of thing in Outposts, right? Find some backcountry outpost on some planet, and you're able to take missions. That goes back to that locality thing I've been talking about, and how I think that is so important, man. So being able to keep what you're doing local, anything that supports that gets a huge round of applause from me. First planned for use at the new Starkitect locations. Dude, I'm so excited. Like, Starkitect done well with stuff like this could be an overnight game changer for exploration gameplay. You know what I mean? I mean, thousands and thousands and thousands of locations. I mean, more than that. On a planet is definitely going to give you a feeling like exploration is now a thing, I would wager. Yeah, Northish Central PA was only 94 today. AC running like a champ. Yeah, same here. It got up to 100 here today. Progress also continued on bringing back physical mission givers. Also, something important for local first gameplay. Players can now receive a one-time comms call from a mission giver when they meet certain conditions, such as entering a specific star system. Mission delivery directly to an instance is now supported. Interesting. And is used by various Metallic. Dude, I don't know why I can't say that name. A G following a TT like that is so weird. Battaglia. Am I saying that right? Battaglia. That's how I'm reading it. To close out some of the work on the ship hangar services feature, The team added support for missile containers when stacking missiles on a cargo grid. I like that. Finally, for social, there you go. Here's whoever asked about social. Finally, for social and orgs, chat was re-implemented with more robust customizable tabs. Thank the heavens. Dude, I have been saying for as long as I have been playing MMOs after World of Warcraft that the only thing games need to do social better than what they are is copy the way World of Warcraft did it. It has just floored me how game after game tries to innovate on the chat UI and they always fall short. I just feel like WoW had a very simple system with channels and tabs and it worked so well. 104 yesterday? Whew, yeah, it was I saw 104 here. What the hell day was it? Thursday? Yeah, I think it was like 104 Thursday, 102 Saturday or Friday, and then 100 yesterday. So yeah, it's been brutal. But yeah, I like the sound of those tabs. A new location-based channel lets players near a planet chat with others in the vicinity, automatically switching channels as they move between areas. Woo! This sounds amazing. This sounds like EVE Online, where your channel automatically flips as you move between systems. The team also entered the discovery phase for a reworked Friends app. Yeah, it'd be so nice to be able to add friends without going to Spectrum. I too am looking forward to Starchitect. Hopefully it won't take 2 years to actually have dynamic events and working NPCs and new locations. I know. I think I was saying it before you got here, Griff, but Starchitect and Planet Tech combined, like those two things, that is the next huge thing as far as I'm concerned. Battaglia. Is that really Battaglia? Interesting. That is such a weird thing for me to say. Battaglia. Interesting. Thank you for the pronunciation key. But yeah, I think Starchitect plus the new Planet Tech, I think is gonna. I don't think a lot of people probably realize how game changing it's gonna be. I mean, probably a lot of people here do, but I really think it's gonna be game changing. Creature content. In June, the creature team worked on various improvements to the existing behaviors of the Valakar family. Yeah, they've already talked a lot about this. Work on the Apex Sand variant is still underway, with the team refining the gameplay to provide better experiences to players in ships. Pre-production for a brand new creature family began, with exploration around visual, silhouettes, combat legibility, gameplay architects. I love that they're putting all this effort into wildlife. I mean, it's just going to really help places feel alive. Y'all know I play a little bit of PAX Day, and used to be a lot. These days it's a little bit. And it has some wildlife, but I always wish they had more. Like, they're coming out with a patch here soon that adds birds, because that was one of the versions of wildlife that's been missing. But just being in an environment where there's like little foxes running around and rabbits and all this shit, it adds to it, you know what I mean? Economy. Sad there's only like 2 sentences here. Last month, the economy team evaluated the economic data from the Alpha 4.8 release and worked to improve some of the underlying systems, such as repair and reclaim. This will allow outliers to be more reasonably priced and the systems to work more intuitively. Okay. Wish there was more, but we'll take anything. Oh man, we haven't even got to online technology yet. That's one of my favorite sections. Mission design. Progress continued on Siege of Orison. The mission team pushing the boundaries of the technology and working through limitations as they came up. The upcoming missions received polish throughout June, too, with improvement plans being made to ensure the devs achieve the experience they want. Following the recent armor rebalance, which changed the tags ships used to spawn in combat missions, the team are now beginning to rebalance the mission content. Okay. Narrative, I'm just going to skip. That's not my thing. Alright, online tech. Over the past month, the Live Tools team made significant progress across all their internal tools, wrapping up several long-running projects while shipping a steady stream of updates and fixes. Okay, that's pretty vague. Hold on, I'm checking on something here. The biggest was the completion of 2 major overhauls to Hex. The internal platform used by player support and operations staff. The first was a full visual and experience redesign called Hex 4.0, which established a fresh look and feel that will guide all future development of the platform. The second was an expanded set of player investigation tools, giving support teams richer information and faster ways to look into player accounts. Track item ownership histories, manage entitlements. Multiple Hex releases also went out during this period, delivering new features, improvements, and critical fixes, including security patches to access, management, and backend components. Okay. Hex is going to be one of those things that will be of paramount importance come 1.0. I don't know many people that have actually gotten somebody from the support team to look at anything, but I'm sure it happens. Bootstrap, this is the one they use for developers to run a full copy of the game on their development machines. The tool that helps... I should have just read because they're going to say the same thing. The tool that helps developers quickly set up and configure their local work environment. The team continued to resolve reliability issues. Moreover, they advanced the design phase of the larger overhaul aimed at making the overall developer experience significantly smoother. This is one of those things that I don't feel companies can invest in enough. I'm sure a lot of people will just kind of glance over this and be like, yeah. And I get it. But as a developer myself, like I've been in way too many environments where the way a team works reduces the efficiency and output of everybody, right? Because there's no reinvestment in the team. It's kind of like you're running a business and you just pull all the money out of the business and you don't reinvest in that business at all. You know what I mean? And I mean, what's that business going to do over time? Well, it's really not going to do well if you're never reinvesting in it. That's how this kind of thing works for developers. Like, whenever you're reinvesting in your development team by improving how they work and the tools they have and all that stuff, like it's gonna, the output and the efficiency is gonna go up. If you don't do those things, it's gonna go down over time. The devs continue to improve how crashes are captured and reported. The improvements made the data richer and more actionable for those investigating issues. Panic Switch, the live incident management tool, also received ongoing polish and bug fixes. For instance, the completion of a configuration migration that had been progressed for some time. The team additionally began work on automatically handling crash reports tied to known hardware issues affecting a specific generation of Intel processors. This will reduce the manual effort needed from operations staff to triage those incidents. Maybe that'll free some of them up to actually help other people. Maybe we'll all soon know somebody that was helped by a support staff. Welcome back, P-Wolf. I'm almost more interested in seeing if they have a workflow being drawn up for re-engineering the old planets and moons. Yeah. I mean, they're gonna need it all done, but Yeah, I'll take any form of the new planets with Star Architect. I just want to see how cohesive it all is, you know? Like see if it's everything I anticipate it being. But yeah, I'm very excited to see the old planets redone in it. I caught a permanent ban once. I did absolutely nothing, but I was on a server that had a mass amount of cheaters. And then the kill hack was going around. Oof. Reached out to the support team, asked what I did, and they asked if they would look into it. About a week later, I got a response saying I was unbanned and an apology for the inconvenience. Well, that's cool. It's good to hear that they're actually capable of doing that. That's awesome. I'm gonna finish this section. I gotta get some water. Online services team resolved over 30 bugs across 2 weekly cycles and focused on a mix of upcoming player-facing features and live game stability work. Biggest area of active development was item recovery, also known as item imprint, the long-awaited feature that will allow players to reclaim items lost due to bugs or crashes. Online services completed a key alignment session with the UI team to nail down the individual item claim flow work. This includes how the game handles players' full list of owned items and lets them selectively recover what's missing. Significant work also went into addressing stability issues with the game's mission and contract system. Dedicated design and technical review sessions were held, and a formal optimization effort was created to rebuild contract generation processes in a more efficient way. Any stability we can get for contract submissions is welcome. Finally, we're getting a bit of a tech thing in my wheel. I love the online technology section because this is where they usually put these types of details. It was a little light this month. The global database sharding work, which improves how player data is distributed across servers at scale, was completed. The team also moved deeper into the discovery and design phase for the future crafting and refinement system. They held multiple sessions to resolve complex questions around how crafted items interact with player-owned equipment, insurance, and persistent item upgrades. What an interesting topic. I'm gonna grab some water. I'll be right back. I saw that, Jack Tyler. Griff, thank you so much for the gifts, dude. Really appreciate that. Massive help. I hear it. You didn't hear me coming. Can't talk about him when he's here. Yes, you can. Feel free. Feel free to talk about me in my presence. This one time I bought a gun off an epic and ambitious dream station. Thank you for gifting everybody, Griff. Really appreciate that, dude. It was back when I introduced PCLS having characteristics like being scared or courageous. He got scared and ran to the wall that displays the guns and took one off it. Weird. Very weird. I definitely want to talk about this paragraph, but I just want to look ahead to the R&D here. In June, further progress was made to improve the look of gas clouds. I am a fan of gas clouds. Support for a density-based LUT to recolor gas clouds was added. I have no idea what that means. And the phase function that controls how light is scattered was improved. Thank God. Imagine if we had inferior light dispersion in gas clouds. Moreover, the min-max ray march path was simplified and optimized again. Shoo! I'm just kidding. I'm sure it's all awesome. I have no idea. This was probably the most Greek sentence in the whole thing to me. Focus then switched back to ground fog. The new model, which was finalized earlier this year, was added into production. As a finishing touch, support for local height as well as density was added. This is going to look cool on those swamp planets, man. Now, this is cheaper to evaluate and render, extends the visible range, and improves the modeling aspect of ground fog and its lighting. It will also self-shadow, as well as cast shadows like rain volumes and clouds. Part of this work includes optimizations for the atmosphere ray marcher. Lastly, broken sub-object calling was fixed. Sweet. Give me one moment. Sorry, got some allergies or something. Gas clouds are awesome. I think they're even more they can do in the future. Imagine flying through a Jupiter-sized hurricane where the eye of the storm was continent sized. That'd be sweet. Yeah, that would be awesome. This, well, I guess VFX, I don't think there's anything down here. And working on the Siege Force and stuff. This last paragraph up in the online text section. They said they held multiple sessions to resolve complex questions around how crafted items interact with player-owned equipment, insurance, and persistent item upgrades. I don't know. That's a big sentence. I don't know exactly what they're getting at there, but that is definitely butting up against things I think are so fundamental to the game and to the to them developing systems that are long lasting. It'll be interesting to see more thinking behind that stuff. I don't know if that's touching on like wear and tear or how, especially insurance, right? Like this is something I've been concerned about, not like overly so, but like it's on my mind, is can players craft a 999 rifle and then insure it and basically never be worried about not having their 999 rifle? You know what I mean? Because I think that would be bad for the game if that was the case. I would much rather see all insurance claim get base level items on a claim or something like that. I don't know. I don't know. Definitely there's a lot of complex questions there for sure. But the thing that worries me most is the thought of players getting all their 999 gear, all insured, and then just being done, right? Like, what else is there? I got my BIS set. I'm good. That is such a plague on gaming, I feel like. That mentality and that loop. You wouldn't mind the insurance always being able to recover that item as long as that item at some point degrades so that it's not worth keeping? Yeah, I've heard that from a few people. I don't think insurance should restore max durability if they do let you keep the same weapon. Sure, it can have its current HP restored, but eventually every item in the game should degrade. Yeah, that could be a good solution. As long as it takes a chunk on a claim out of its max life. I could see that working. I don't know. Yeah, I could be convinced of that, I think. I'm just thinking about it. Yeah. I could be convinced of that. That gives you a few losses, I guess. Probably makes people feel a little better. Because I could certainly empathize with, oh man, I just crafted this amazing thing and I'm taking it out. And I take it out and I die right away and I lose it. I can understand the psychological impact of that. So at least if you could take it out and lose it like 5 times, yeah, I could understand that. And maybe that's enough. Like that's a dial they're just gonna have to tune just right to keep that economy going while letting players feel good enough about their investment, their time investment. They talked about functionality, and at one point we had misfire in the game. If my gun is misfiring every other shot, there's no point in keeping it insured anymore. Yeah. I would love that. I would love functional degradation. That's even better than like a max lifetime bar. You know what I mean? Maybe there is a max lifetime bar, but it's hidden. And the way we see it is through things like misfiring and malfunction of some sort. I would love that. Because like we have durability systems and things like Doom Awakening or PAX Day, but they are strictly numeric values, right? You get a little bar, and that thing could be next to 0, and it's still just as functional as it was if it was max durability. That's what I mean when I say like functional degradation. I would love to see that. I think the main thing with that is when it is degraded, you can't just disassemble and recraft it with the same materials and get another max quality item. Yeah, no doubt, right? That's another thing. Yeah, I think they're gonna have to make it so that the materials that you can extract through disassembling is reduced based on the longevity left on the item. So if you salvage an item with basically no longevity left, you get next to nothing out of it. I would assume if you break down a degraded item, you get lower quality. Yeah, or that, or it's lower quality, or something, yeah. I do think you should be able to refurbish it by adding more high quality materials in. Maybe. I don't know. I think my bullets, I'm okay with that being how you refurbish it, but that should never increase the maximum lifetime of it. You know what I mean? Like, when I say maximum lifetime, I'm talking about there's definitely like refurbishing and repair cycles, but every one of those cycles reduces the max lifetime. And so eventually it's done for. Jamming was a thing. That's awesome. I would love to see that. Yeah. Strawberry or grape. Only one man would dare give me raspberry jam. Have they ever talked about bringing the right tool for the job with respect to environment? I'm still surprised that we don't have standard ballistic guns locking up because you pulled it out on a frozen moon and its internals don't freeze up. I would love to see that. I will fight for the right to repair in all places, though. Yeah, I'm cool with repairs. Again, as long as it eventually breaks. Yeah, I would love to see that, Griff. The environment affecting gear more would be cool. That kind of comes back to the survival nature of the game too. Like, they already have a little bit of that in place with us needing the right gear to survive high or low temperatures, but I don't know. I feel like there's definitely more room for them to expand on that with other types of environmental dangers, but then extend that to the equipment that we're using. Maybe the types of I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to go so far as the type of ships that could fly through there. I mean, they're already kind of doing that with Worm Boss. But then the EMP stuff that goes out. I don't know. But yeah, I'm all for that kind of stuff. Environmental effects are in tier 0 like most of the game. Yeah, true. Vault weapons, heat mechanics are a great example already. Yeah. They can kind of justify that away with the cooling system warning to like cars. Yeah, that's a good idea. I like that idea. Um, yeah, this was a pretty decent monthly report overall. I liked. I don't know. I think the star of 4.9 is shaping up to be the sound team. What is the feature that they have worked on you most look forward to seeing? Are you talking about 4.9, Fault? If you're talking 4.9, it is definitely the sound team's ship flyover sounds. If you're talking about past 4.9, then I would say Starchitect and Planet Tech V5. Yeah. Which I don't even think they mentioned in this monthly report, but they mentioned it on the roadmap roundup. Yeah. Implementing an overhaul ship. I don't know if you were here. We were watching the video earlier where they were showing off these sounds. Freaking amazing. Can't wait. I hope I forget about this, and then I'm in a situation where it's there, and I'm just like, yeah. Yeah. Quantum travel and social tools. I don't know if we're getting any social tools in 4.9, but they're definitely being worked on. I do love the sound of the direction they're taking for chat. That is a tried and true model that, yeah, I'm very happy to see. As far as quantum travel, that is one of the bugs that they're working on. I don't know if any feature related to that they're working on, but if they can get the star map less finicky and more reliable, yeah, I'm with you there. That's gonna be great. That is the thing that brings me the most frustration in my gameplay right now. It's just having to open and fiddle with that star map like 5 times anytime I want to travel. If that goes away, I mean, I will be happy. But yeah. Ship sounds. For sure for me. And then looking to 4.10, I'm excited for the armor. More so than instance dungeon content. The super heavy combat armor that we watched a video on a couple weeks ago, that looks sick, man. That's gonna be fun. That might actually be the main reason I look forward to Siege of Orison, is taking one of those suits in there. That'll be fun. Definitely nothing else on the 4.10 roadmap that, other than potentially the fuel tank and consumption rebalance. Who thinks that they're going to go down on this? Like, ships are going to get less distance they're able to travel. I would love to see that. At least the smaller ships, right? Because they're saying here they want to enforce ship sizes and roles, and I would love it if smaller ships and more combat-oriented roles, if their max distance took a big hit. You hope they go down? Yeah, me too. Pyro doesn't feel hard to traverse. That's what I'm saying, man. Yeah, I feel like I can just get it in like a tiny little ship and I can just jump from one end to the other no matter what system I'm in. It does not feel great to me. Now, I know there's a lot of those people who want fast travel to party leader and all that stuff that are going to vehemently disagree, but yeah. QT will only get the most basic fixes to keep it limping along. It's supposed to be different since the new QT system is bundled with the new flight model, yeah. Yeah, you're right about that. I can't wait for Quantum Boost, speaking of the new flight model. That would be great, but the entry-level missions need to be adjusted to that range. Yeah, I agree, Roston. Totally agree with you on that. I want to see the entry-level missions, like, come way in. I want to see entry-level be like, you're spending some time on whatever planet or place you choose to start. You spend a whole lot of time right around there. You don't have to go far. That's what I'd love to see. You really want fighters to need to be shipped across star systems for the most part? Stanton is fine because there's so many R&Rs. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, me too. I mean, especially we're getting ships like the Liberator, the Kraken. I mean, all the effort that they put into the refueling ships. Like, I feel like carriers and refueling and all that stuff benefit from more friction and distance. Boosting is what I'd like to see. Yeah, me too. If for no other reason, like, boosting can work around the star map problems that we've been having for so long. There's so many times where I'm just like, I know which direction I gotta go. Like, let me just point and shoot. You know? You do. I hope they really lean into it. I want to be soft-faced into interacting with people. If I want to move more than one or two small fighters across the system at once, yeah. Totally with you, Waffle. Short-range ships need to be short-range. The long-range ships need to be long-range. It's part of the decision of ships and components. Yeah, exactly. That's where my mind is, too. Once the architect is in, I hope they really reduce WT distances. Should be able to play the entire game on a near starting planet. Yes! That's exactly where my mind is, P-Wolf. Talking about those starter missions, like, I hope it goes way beyond starter missions. I hope someday I want to be able to log in and choose Microtech or wherever is my home, and then, you know, I may never leave. Like, I can experience the whole game right there on Microtech. That's the dream. Hauling missions should go everywhere from everywhere, if that's what you want. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, again, hauling missions, you should be able to do planet-to-planet delivery, like same planet to planet, you know what I mean? Or planet to the orbital station, or maybe a nearby station in the same planetary system. I mean, there's so many options where you don't have to travel across system, but then, yeah, it's like long-haul trucker, right? You know, get same thing for space. And I loved whenever they introduced the hauling missions that were supposed to go across star system. I don't even know if they ever got those fixed because they were broken out the gate. That's super long haul, you know what I mean? I love that progression. I want public transit to move around without a ship. Me too, Commander Melander. I want those spaceports on those planets and stand that have the basically like the public airports. I want those to work. I want to be able to walk in there, get a ticket to the next planet, you know, get shuttled over. That'd be sweet. think they're getting there. I don't leave Crusader unless I need to buy some distortion weapons. Nice. That's awesome. What's your main game loops though, Waffle? Like, what do you do around Crusader? I'm just curious. Progression should be making enough money to either get a ship with longer QT range or paying transport ships to take you to other location. Yeah, I'm with you, P-Wolf. Sig has mentioned wanting that for planets as well, to be able to do plenty of missions on ground using mass transit to get around before even needing to buy a ship. Man, Griff, that is the dream. I keep saying, like, if they achieve that, they have won. Or upgrading your quantum drive, that's another way to go. They're doing passenger systems and ships, yeah. Yeah, like the what is that? The Genesis Starliner. I'd love to see stuff like that taking off from planets, carrying a bunch of people with tickets somewhere else. Be happy with a shuttle from the planet to the orbital station? Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool as hell. So many times where, like, yeah, you just got to get from the spaceport just to the station right above you. That'd be cool to take a shuttle up there. You want to be a planetary taxi driver? Dude, me too. That's the next app they need to build for the Moby Glass. We need Star Uber. Star Uber would be a hit. That would draw people in. I didn't think you'd be in favor of point-and-shoot quantum for interdiction reasons, but I'm glad we agree. It doesn't feel like we have the freedom that space represents right now. No, I'm totally on board with point-and-shoot quantum. 100%. I'm on board. Starlift, yes! That sounds even better. Piracy and Merkle work if mercenary work? Yeah. Been stealing ships since 2018. Nice, Waffle. That's a good game loop. Many years ago, they talked about a system for creating procedural interiors anywhere in the city. You get assigned a mission, takes a taxi, shuttle, and seemingly random landing pad. That's we had transport beacons back then, and beacons still worked. The city, and when you access the elevator on the roof, it takes you to the mission instance. They talked about that. Yeah, I agree. Starlift is a great name. I feel like they talked about that not too long ago. It wasn't even a super long time ago. They were talking about building interiors, and they were talking about. They even showed some concepts about a lot of the buildings being connected underground. Like they had like that underground system of corridors that connected the large buildings and stuff, and I haven't heard anything about building interiors in a while now, but I hope that is something that's progressing. I mean, talk about making those cities come alive. I think that would be incredible. And it would go a long way to what we're talking about, making planet side gameplay like A-tier gameplay, you know what I mean? Now that I'm able to store ships I steal, it's even better. Yeah, that's a good point. When I come back the next day, they are all bricks, but I can still strip them and dismantle all the components. That's awesome. So what's your general tactic for stealing them? Are you just looking at POIs for people leaving ships around, or? I mean, you can't sneak into people's hangars anymore, as far as I know. That reminds me, I still wish the municipal works were going to be Area 18. ArcCorp desperately needs some work. I agree with that. ArcCorp is definitely feels like it's fallen behind some of the other cities. Hurston had its big rework. I mean, I wasn't here whenever a lot of those cities were introduced, but Microtech always felt like Microtech and Orson, I guess, always felt like some of the most fleshed out. It's only 500Q, but whatever. It's something to do on a day when I don't really want to be out pirating. Yeah. That's awesome. That was their concept for the underworld or whatever. Underworks. Yeah, I don't remember. I just remember they were showing like these massive towers. I don't know if it was Area 18 or whatever, and each one had like elevators, whatever, down under the city, and then there was like a big network of tunnels or trams down there that would take you from building to building, and you come back up. And then the buildings also had landing pads on the top of them, and yeah, it was very cool. But it was part of their building interior discussion. Wouldn't that be something if they surprised us with Planet Tech V5 and said, "Surprise! You also got building interiors." It seems like building interiors seem like a similar challenge to the types of challenges that StarCartect solves for planetary surfaces. You know what I mean? Like that procedural but human assisted design and generation is you're going to need the same thing for building interiors. You play solo, so for me, can't popular OMs and try to get enough distortion on a ship so they can't jump. Nice. Crack a door, go in, PS, relieve them of the ship. That's awesome, dude. I wish I was that skilled to be able to do that. I'm not that skilled. (2015, 2016) Area 18, damn. That's a long time ago. I recall the underground stuff is discussed in tandem with instancing, so maybe it's on the horizon. Yeah, man, I can't remember. What's up, Kennedy? Interception ship loop for a while, but it got really boring. See if I can find it. What happened to the interiors they put into full production? This is what I'm saying. Like, I don't remember, because I thought they were like, "Hey, we're gonna start building this," but does this mention it? Journey to 4.0. How can the creation of our new modular building interior system enhance the city experience within the verse? Let's dive into starting from the rooftops. I think this might be what I was thinking about. This is exactly what I was talking about. Dive in, starting from the rooftops and going all the way through to the underground and the interior episode, Journey to 4.0. Yeah. Play. Oh, broken. Dang it.
CitizenCon 2022 has come and...
No.
This week, it's another Journey to 4.0 special, where we jump farther ahead and take a look at work scheduled to make its Persistent Universe debut in the upcoming 4.x branch of release. And this week, we're proud to bring Star Citizen art director Ian Leyland back to share with us a first look inside the buildings of Star Citizen's landing zones.
Yeah, so when was this? This was 3 years ago, so February 2023. Yeah, this would have been not too long after I started playing, I think. I joined in 317. So this was being talked about at the time as something on the way to 4.0.
So building interiors is something we've always wanted to do, you know, because of, you know, we've had cities in the game for a while. We have many cities, we have many buildings. Therefore, we could have many interiors. It's a perfect opportunity to put in a lot of play space. Now, with the players
God, I would love to see this.
flying around these buildings, they've been largely urban landscapes, fairly uninteractable. You know, we've done a few landing pads to get the players in and out there, but really the real good stuff was on the inside. So up until now, we've been on the outside wondering about the inside, and today we're going to talk about the inside, looking outside.
I just hope this is still in the works. I can see this being deferred for something like Starchitect to help with it.
All right, so with building interiors, the way in which we approach the concept development, now this was just a pure blue sky ideation phase, and the idea was to create inspirational material to use that as a content to inspire conversations, to find out what do we want to do for the game, what is cool for the game, and use that as the initial springboard for the conversation. So what we'll be looking through here is a presentation of blue sky ideation, primarily used as a springboard to start conversations with Chris, with the design director, and the game director, to understand what do we want to put in the game, what could be cool for the game, and we use that as that initial inspiration point. So when I'm talking about building
this is
interiors, how
exactly
can
the
we
presentation I
break that
remember.
down? So right off the bat on the top, it's the rooftop spaces. So these would be the primary access points for the player. Then just below that, the maintenance spaces, these could be industrial or technical.
Wait, this was brought up last week, Parker? Where?
Also, we can have residential. So residential could be entire building blocks, so it could be a proportion. Then after that, we've got commercial. So these could be shopping, it could be offices, it could be social. And then at the bottom, obviously, we've got lobbies. Now, these also could be access points for the player. For example, if you're inside Area 18, the player can get access to it there. And then lastly, we've got the underground. Now, these could be interesting as a connector space between buildings. So maybe you've gone in through one building, you go down, and it could bring you through to another part of a building. Let's start with rooftops. Now, up until now, we've largely designed our cityscapes to be more of a backdrop to the landing zone. We have the social space generally in the middle, and then the cityscape goes around it. And they've been designed to give the best composition, to be interesting to fly around. But we've not really thought about designing these buildings from the inside out.
I was so excited about this.
So what we're looking at here is some potential concepts for what could be interesting landing spaces that drives the architecture of the building. With landing pads, it doesn't necessarily need to be on the top of the building. It could be, you know, halfway down or lower. So imagine, you know, you're in the lower parts of the city, and then we'd open up these additional play spaces. And as you can see here, it's not just the landing pad, it's the gameplay space that goes along with it too. Now, it doesn't necessarily need to be a single building. Imagine there is a network hub that services a few different buildings. So what we're looking at here is maybe like a transit hub where the player could land, get on some transit, and then that would lead to some buildings. Okay, so maintenance spaces. So these could be really interesting in terms of player interaction. You know, they could be dealing with the power or the maintenance of the building. And then also you could have technical spaces. So these would be more for technicians. It could deal with the data or the communications.
Levski would be a very interesting place
you know, gameplay puzzles where the player has to work their way inside the main operation booth. So
I feel like Levski already has a lot of
interior there's a huge amount of potential here. what we wanted to do with residential is two things.
I'd be curious
One,
how they would intend to expand that.
Investigating the potential player housing. So with that, we want to be able to create a variety of interior layouts. And also we want to explore a variety of architectural styles. So when we're looking at potential housing layouts, we wanted something fairly modular in a way in which we could create a variety of combinations.
I agree, my bolts.
So whether it's living spaces or habitation space.
I definitely agree this isn't priority deserving like over some other things, but yeah, it's especially important for that A-tier planet first gameplay that I really want to see.
Spaces or social spaces. And also here we want the players to eventually be able to populate the player-owned habitation. So you see here like a first indication of how, the sort of dressing styles that you'd be able to do. Outside of something that's fairly utilitarian, we also want to do something that could be fairly high-end. So here we're just exploring some ideas about what a space could feel like on a different architectural style, and more generous windows, interior spaces dedicated to more than just habitation. And these would be focused on other landing zones. So imagine you come across these in Area 18, or it could be when we come to Terra. And also, like I said, it could be informing future player-owned habitation architectural sets. Now, outside of the living quarters, there's also the social spaces just outside. And we want these to be more than just the corridors that we're seeing in the game right now. So these could be multi-layered social spaces. And these could also inform advanced traversal routes for the player to be able to get inside these habitation rooms. So as we're talking through various architectural styles, what you're seeing here is just a collection of ideas, a collection of architectural intent to create like a palette or a mood that will inform art style.
That is so badass. Look at
and gameplay opportunities. So outside of residential, we're moving into the commercial area. So what this means is it means we can look at areas that are more gameplay focused outside of player habitation. So when we're talking about these could be office blocks, these could be corporate owned. Inside here, there could be corporate wings, there could be manufacturing, there could be office spaces. And what we try to think about with these, it's more than just a flat room. There should be advanced traversal, it should be multi-tiered. So outside of the commercial offices, we've also got like restaurants and bars. So what we're looking at here is a pretty cool like skyline bar in Lova. That could be fun. But also in restaurants, Chris always described
RP is going to be so strong in this game.
Really high-end restaurants in the game where you can get access to food choices that isn't available anywhere else.
I like that idea.
So right at the foot of the building, we're going to start talking about the lobby.
Kind of buff.
So as I said before, these are going to be access points to the player, but also we can do more than just a standard foyer that we're seeing in the game right now. So this sort of space we're seeing here is, imagine there's an underground transit network, and that transit station feeds a network of building lobbies. So these could be social spaces, these could...
And imagine there's quest givers and factions and all kinds of stuff populating each one of those lobbies, right? Like, this is... like... And you can imagine, like, you can start to see how much overlap there is between this and Starkitect, at least in my mind. Like, doing something on this scale seems like it demands Starkitect style tooling.
Could be really good combat spaces.
But you can see how, like, with this kind of vastness in a city, just in one city, like how a player could just spend their entire playtime on one planet.
They could have access to mini restaurants or bars or facilities. And we're just showing that in a variety of art styles. So one's a fairly low end, one could be fairly high end, but the infrastructure is the same. So as we're exploring art style opportunities, this then drives where it would be appropriate. So some would be more appropriate in somewhere like Area 18. Some will be more appropriate in somewhere like Horizon, and obviously some will be more appropriate for future landing zones like Odessa or Prime. And also when we're talking about lobbies, again, what we're trying to do is we're trying to describe multi-layer traversal spaces. So in these illustrations, you're seeing a variety of routes to then help inform the initial conversation with level design.
Also, each one of these could be a mission location in of itself, like all kinds of different mission types. From like he was just saying, like manufacturing missions, office style missions, data, some kind of like data running or something related to that. You could have terrorist organizations like Xeno Threat or whatever coming in. Or I don't even don't judge me. I don't know all the lore, but trying to hold an office building hostage, you got to go in there. Like, you know, there's so many things could play out in these.
Now, finally, we're going to talk about the underground. Now, this is
bounty hunting,
one of the coolest
right?
spaces. So rather than just focusing on the
would be amazing.
Positive axis of the building, we're going to look at the underground. Now, what this does, it means we can access a whole area of play space that doesn't need to be contained inside the building. So within the lobby, we want the player to start to traverse down into these spaces, and these could be...
I just had actually. Think about how much time we spend, especially if you're in to trading, hauling, mining, all that kind of stuff. We spend so much time on websites, right? Trying to figure out the optimal routes and where to go get this thing. And I've already started addressing a little bit of that with some of the updates they've made to the star map and being able to zoom into a planet and see what materials there and stuff. But imagine if they just wholesale absorbed like the services these websites provide, bring that all in game and put it on terminals and stuff in the game. So like, you know, these office buildings that they're talking about, like you could be doing the research there and like planning out your trade. That would be pretty cool.
Underground transit networks, they could be abandoned underground transit networks. This then could drive potential racing opportunities. So when we was doing this, we thought, oh, it'd be really cool. Like, what would it look like if there's an underground street
race going on? That's a good point, Griff. Yeah, Dread.
Also, there could be traversal opportunities. Like I said before, if the player wanted to go
I keep thinking
into one building, down, and then through, and then up into another building,
I think that's
what would that traversal
architectures.
network be like? Especially if we're thinking about if it's an older part of the underground of a city, maybe it's less used, you know, people have built up, that would instantly inspire a whole bunch of traversal and investigation missions there. Or maybe there's an old aqueduct or an old infrastructure underground. You know, this could be perfect for underground street racing or the racing.
Street racing, I never even thought about that. Dude, that would be amazing.
Opportunities. So in a nutshell, what we looked at is a blue sky investigation into what building interiors could be like for the game. These are essentially dungeon kits. You know, we want to be able to work on these areas in a fairly procedural manner, and we want these to be dungeon opportunities for game.
This is actually interesting.
Play spaces. It also will start to inform the future of player-owned habitation and the type of visuals or look and feels that could be.
Yes. Being able to rent these spaces or buy these spaces as a player and live in them, decorate them. That's a whole nother facet inside of this. And whenever he was talking about the dungeon kit, like, it got me thinking a lot of this type of content would certainly lend itself better to instancing and layering than, you know, the outdoor content would. So that's interesting from a scaling perspective.
So this ties into a much larger initiative. So we're seeing it a little bit now with the redo of Lowville. That's turning into a much bigger cityscape. And what that means is every city in the game is ready for these building interior spaces. Now, one thing to
You mean
note
bring racing
is
back to the PU?
the cityscapes are probably going to change a
gone?
little bit.
I haven't looked for it
Just
in a while.
from an initial investigation, we found our buildings are quite small. So expect to see the
40 or 50
skylines
billion people into
go through a period of transition.
Yeah.
But that's cool because that means we're designing the inside of the buildings and then we'll redo the architecture. We're designing initial investigation, we found cityscapes are building interior space in the game. That's turning into a much bigger cityscape. And what that means is every city in the game is ready for these building interior spaces. Now, one thing to note is the cityscapes are probably going to change a little bit. Just from an initial investigation, we found our buildings are quite small. So expect to see the skylines go through a period of transition, but that's cool because that means we're designing the inside of the buildings and then we'll redo the architecture to fit to that. So I think it's going to be super positive for the game. So just
as a matter of fact, I thought whenever they redid Hurston, I thought part of that was to grow the size of the buildings in support of this. Am I wrong about that?
just in case was thinking it's all just blue sky concept, actually we're going to start full production on these spaces right at the end of this quarter.
I hope that's true. I hope they did start.
So, what did we learn this week? Well, we learned that much like the new underground facilities we showcased before, building interiors will be a new series of modular set pieces, enabling a whole host of gameplay opportunities, from trade to exploration to combat and PvP and much more. And that, much like those new UGFs, they're going into production now, and in fact, by the time this airs, will already have started. And that the journey to 4.0 may have Pyro at its center, but it will still continue to evolve all aspects of Star Citizen and the existing persistent universe around it. Now, we'll be back with more Inside Star Citizen next week. But for our journey to 4.0, I'm Jared Huckabee, and we'll be back in about a month or so with our next big look forward. See you then.
Thumbs up on that shit. What does save do? Oh, I can put that in a playlist. Sweet. Alright. I don't want to lose that again. Nope, you're right. If I remember right, Turbulent did most of the work as onboarding when they got purchased. This for sure sounds like it relies heavily on Starchitect and the new Planetech. Yeah. Yeah, even if it's not one-to-one applicable, I think the principles in those tools are going to apply to whatever tools they have. Like, there could be a fork, right? Like a variant of Starchitect for building interiors, where Starchitect is specialized on planet surfaces. They might have a fork that specializes. Who knows? I don't know if like one tool can do it all, but nonetheless, the high-level principles of both of those things seem very, very similar. So, but man, that would be just as exciting to see as Starchitect for me, since they're both really chasing the same dream, at least from my perspective. Anyway. Good one. That is exactly the video I was remembering too. Whenever they showed that tower with all the levels in the ground, that's exactly what I remembered in my mind. So the only reason I say that is because I'm fairly certain they did the distribution centers, as we got Lorville rework around the time. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I remember that being like one of the primary reasons for the Lorville rework. And man, building interiors at Lorville would be awesome. I love the aesthetics of Lorville. It might be my favorite city from an aesthetics point of view. This just has that vibe. But I'm actually that's my home currently. Has been for the last couple patches actually. It's kind of a pain in the ass to navigate. I mean, I'm used to it now, but it wasn't first. I would never tell a new player to start there. They'd get frustrated before they ever took off from space. Well, I guess not now that they spawn in their. It's less of a problem now that you spawn in your hangar, but you're still, if you got to run back for ammo or whatever, it's still painful.
User entered your channel.
But anyway, cool. Anything we missed? I forget, what is the July 4th? What is the intended release date of 4.9? Because they're saying 4.10 is already going to be in August. I would not have expected the next patch to be that soon. Or if they're hastening, they're like moving the schedule up because of the way they're pivoting on 4.9. I also saw some of the recent video titles coming out saying there's some news on Squadron. Was that posted anywhere? Next week or two on 4.9? That's cool. Oh, they're adding an extra patch? Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because it's supposed to be 2-month cadence, so a week or two is going to put 4.9 at mid-July, and August is definitely not a 2-month cadence for 4.10. Well, on the comlink, they're making it sound like it's going to be 4.10 is what's going to include instancing. But in a recent, I forget where I even saw it, where they were saying 4.10 was going to be August. But yeah, might as well be a 4.91 or 4.92. Happy 4th. Goodbye. I think that was the first non-bot I got to ban. That was fun. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, Squadron. Yes, I just saw this come up like an hour ago. I don't know what information he's got. Let's check it out real quick.
Hello Hello and welcome to a Squadron 42 update. We've got a new Squadron 42 newsletter where we got to meet some of the crew of the UEES Stanton, that Idris that you're going to be spending a lot of your time on in Squadron. But I also want to bring you up to speed with some other Squadron 42 news, rumours, bits that have been happening over the last few weeks, and take a look at where we are now as we build towards a Squadron 42 release. Is Squadron 42 still going to be released in 2026? Maybe. We haven't been told otherwise. I'm personally now leaning towards a 2027 release, with a release date being announced in October.
I think this was conjecture. I thought he had more information.
That is an I reckon. There is something major happening in October this year, though, instead of CitizenCon. CIG announced that there is...
Alright, never mind. I'm going to skip that. I thought that was, the title got me. I thought he had some new information or something, but he's just piecing together a conjecture like we all are. But the event in October, what do y'all think of that? People being invited to demo the game. Shit. I don't even register their plan patches get shuffled around. I know. Yeah, I'm with you. Couple new NPC profiles got added from the Squadron 42 page. Interesting. Yeah, we'll see. I think this big event in October is... I don't know, man. I'm still not sure how it's going to go. I could see them doing a launch shortly after such a big event. I can't imagine they're going to do an event like that and build all that hype and say, okay, you got to wait another 6 months. I don't know. It feels like an imminent thing. Am I alone? After they're doing an event, I'm assuming this will be the start of their marketing push and it will launch in Q1 or Q2. Yeah, that's what I was thinking initially, Griff. But, man. It feels like a really big push to have that much lag time. But, maybe. I certainly don't know how to do it better than they do, so... do the launch the same day. They're the only game that compete with GTA. That's how I feel. I understand that the frequency and attention of people is limited, but I really don't think they have a lot to fear from GTA 6. But when you're talking that scale, I mean, even a small variation can be a lot of dollars, you know. So I understand either way, but it wouldn't surprise me if they didn't flinch. It wouldn't surprise me if they did. Like I could totally see either approach. No, I know it doesn't hold a candle to penetration, but what I'm saying, whenever I say that they don't have anything to fear, is that obviously they're not going to reach nearly as many players, but I really don't think that GTA 6's launch is going to make them reach significantly less than they otherwise would. You know what I mean? I just don't see it. I think, I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. It's really hard for me to gauge because I'm so biased on this. Like, I have no interest in GTA 6. But I'm sure there's a lot of players that do, that maybe they would be maybe they would be a potential purchaser of Squadron 42, but they won't be because they're completely sucked into GTA 6. I don't know. CIG has a lot more data on that than I do, so I can't even really talk. Hopium that we see something at Gamescom next month. Yeah, full circle kind of moment. Yeah. SC will need the streamer hype and goodwill, and a lot of mainstream streamers will probably be giving a ton of airtime to GTA. Yeah, no, I get that. I totally get that. Yeah, same here, Kennedy. I'm not playing until it comes to PC either. I kind of gave up on console gaming several years ago, so I'm not getting back into it for that. But, I'll definitely be watching. I'll be paying close attention to how the game's doing, and I'll watch some streams and read some articles. But that's about it. My copium is that they haven't removed launching 2026 from the email yet. Yeah. Yeah, very good point. All the emails coming out still say that. Good point. Well, I'm going to continue to hope. I definitely have my own little bit of hopium, but I just don't know. Been here since 2013. I'll be excited when it's downloading the game on release day. Yeah, it is going to be exciting. That'll be the first single player game that I will have played through in I don't know how long. Not counting my turn-based strategy games like Crusader Kings, but like a character-centric single player playthrough. I have not done that, and I can't even tell you the last time I did that. Well, yeah, I can. I think it would have been Skyrim. It's the last single player character centric game I played through. I think Skyrim would have been it. On the PS3, I think it was. Yeah, haven't played through one since. Oh, wait, no. I think... Was Soul Calibur 2... Or not Soul Calibur. Dark Souls 2. 1 and 2 I also played. I don't know if they were before or after Skyrim. I can't remember. I did love Baldur's Gate. So if you count that... I count that as like a turn-based strategy game. But yeah, you're right. That probably counts. Okay, yeah, that would have been the last one I played through. I did play through the entire thing of that. It's definitely not something I do often, though. Skyrim, Dark Souls 1 and 2, Baldur's Gate, yeah. Anyway, it'll be a change of pace for me. I spend almost all my time in MMOs. Dark Souls doesn't respect my time. Well, that eventually I stopped playing them. That's why I didn't play 3 or 4, is because I got a little older and I wasn't as good. You know what I mean? And yeah, it wasn't. Well, they weren't for me anymore at that point. Three was good. Yeah, I played a little bit of 3. That's whenever I realized I'm not good enough for these games anymore. But 1 and 2, I played the whole way through. I watched my wife play 3. She's better at that stuff than I am. She played them all. She played 3 and 4, and she played all the ones that were like spin-offs. I can't even remember the names of them all. Yeah, anyway. I tried the that multiplayer one where you get like 1 to 3 people together and it's like a really fast-paced version of it, and you just go in and you spawn in and you get like upgrades and bosses, and then you kill bosses together. I forget what it's called, but man, I could not figure that game out. I guess I was playing with friends that had already been playing for a long time, and they were just moving so fast, and I don't know, I played it like 2 or 3 times, and I'm like, nah, I'm good. Demon Souls remake on PS5, straight up black magic for how amazing the graphics are in that game. That's awesome. Night Rain, yeah. Dude, I can't figure that game out. There still isn't a better looking PS5 release? Wow. That's awesome. Demon Souls, I don't remember as much. Was that the one where you went through the prison? Was that? Man, I can't. One of those had a level where you were kind of going through a prison. There was like a little elevator or something, and you went up, and there was all these doors, and you were like, I don't know if that was Demon Souls or Dark Souls or... Anyway. I played a dagger build, did a lot of backstabbing, had a blast. Yeah. Well, we'll know one way or another. Hey, what's up, Velocity 7? I'm actually winding down, bud. I appreciate you coming in. Blue Point remade. It was a PS5 launch title. Ever had the chance to reclaim play? At least the intro. Okay. Well, I don't have a PS5. I still have a PS4. I never updated to the 5. You were just running the Xenothread event. I can see why they want to get back to fixes, because there's a lot of broken stuff. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. I don't think, in all the years that I have played this game, though, I don't know that Xenothread has ever ran well. I've always avoided it. I have never done it, because everybody's always talking about how bad it is. What's broken right now? I've heard it's just standard, like, jank, input lag, that kind of stuff. Yeah, dude. Anytime, Griff. Appreciate your gifts, man. Means a lot. Didn't even touch the Pro. PS5 is going to be your last Sony console? Yeah, I stopped with the PS4. Gonna be Nintendo Plus PC from me from now on. Yeah, we still do the Nintendos here. We've always had a Nintendo. We got like a Switch or something right now. We play Mario Kart on. I do love me some Mario Kart. Yeah, good night, Griff. I'm gonna take off here. I'm gonna go help chop that large tree. And then I'm gonna call it a night. I appreciate everybody coming out for the stream. Very fun as always. Got a couple videos lined up for next week, and then we'll be back at this next week. So, hope to see you all next Saturday. You're welcome, Bearstein. Thanks for being here. Take care, all. Have a good night. Enjoy the rest of your July 4th. Be safe. Don't blow anything up that I wouldn't. And we'll see you next week. Take care. Rolo out.